What is going on, Bucs fans and CFP fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you with yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we are continuing our training camp positional group previews, this time heading over to the running back room. If you haven't checked out our previous one with the quarterbacks, go ahead and check that out on the Cannon Fire Podcast YouTube channel. As in that video, I am also in this video joined today by Mr. James Hill, aka Mr. Bucs Nation. James, thanks for joining me again. And, James, we're talking about the running backs right now, and it's a room that had a lot of success in 2024. And I think a lot of people are wondering, with the new offensive coordinator now, Liam Cohen really turned this whole running game around, right? With the help of a guy like Bucky Irving, who had a phenomenal rookie season. I think a lot of people are curious to see what type of shape this Bucs running back room is going to be in. And that's the first person we're going to be talking about as well, is Bucky Irving. And what are your expectations for Bucky Irving's sophomore season? Because I got to tell you, we've seen this, before, right? We've even seen this before in Tampa Bay, where maybe a guy who has a rookie comes onto the scene and does really well, and then maybe slows down a little bit, in their second, third years. What are your expectations for Bucky Irving going into year two?
I do still have high expectations for Bucky. I think, to be honest with you, I think if there was to be two things that would limit Bucky Irving, it would be the inexperience of Josh Grizzard and the offensive line play. I think that as a pure runner, Bucky Irving is pretty darn good, Evan, right? Now, I will say, based on like the Pro Football Focus numbers and things like that, he does still have to improve as a pass catcher, and he does still have to improve, especially as a pass blocker, okay? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Evan, as well, okay? I've watched the past couple practices of training camp. Dude, Bucky kind of looks like a child compared to some of the other Bucs running backs, and like maybe that helps him. I don't know, but like I kind of forget how small kind of Bucky is compared to some of the Bucs running backs, and maybe that adds to his shiftiness and his elusiveness and whatnot. But I just hope that he can maybe bulk up a little bit, improve as a pass blocker, become more of a well-rounded running back, right? Because we do know how good he is as a pure runner, but me and you believe that like Rachaad White isn't going to stick around forever. Sean Tucker isn't going to stick around forever. Like the obviously best timeline is a timeline where Bucky Irving can become that do-it-all running back and really be one of those guys where it's like, hey, not only are you the best pure runner, one of the best pure runners in the NFL right now, but you're just one of the best total running backs in the NFL right now. That's where you get your guys where it's like, no, that's a game changer. That's like a bell cow guy right there.
Yeah, and you actually mentioned the guy we're going to talk about next, and that is Mr. Rachaad White. And look, I mean, it was an interesting season because he was very productive, like numbers wise, very productive. But around maybe a little bit after the midseason point, he sort of took a back seat, and Bucky Irving kind of took the reins. And if you want me honest, I actually think I like the offense operating with them both as like kind of a committee.
I agree with that.
I think they almost tried to force the ball to Bucky Irving at times late last year, and the offense wasn't as smooth. Now, I think Rachaad White definitely has a role on this team. He's also about to be a pending free agent after this coming season. So, he's going to want to get out on the field and prove himself, whether it's to the Buccaneers or to somebody else. He is going to want to get out and show that he can play. So, what do you think Rachaad White's role is going to be in this new offense? And do you think it's going to be similar to what it was last year? Do you think it might be maybe like what it was the year before? Obviously, I know the year before they didn't have Bucky Irving, but Rachaad White was much more of a focal point of the offense in 2022 or in 2023. I should say, than he was in 2024, even though 2024 is still pretty solid.
I think it'll be a bit more of what we saw last year, where it's like hopefully a combination of Bucky and Rachaad. I'm going to be honest with you too, Evan. Me and you have talked about this before. Rachaad White is extremely underrated in the Buccaneers roster by the Buccaneers fan base, in my opinion. Like when we look at what he does in terms of a jack of all trades type of running back, he's very valuable to this offense as a pass blocker, as a runner, as a receiving back as well. Like, again, I spoke about the weaknesses of Bucky Irving's game, but that's why you have a guy like Rachaad White, right? So I think that Rachaad White is about as good of a compliment as you can get to a Bucky Irving, right? So I don't expect it to change, nor do I want it to change, because look, I understand that people do want the flashy stats, Bucky hitting 1,000 yards and going crazy, right? But like, strategy. If a combination of Bucky as 1A, Rachaad as 1B works better than Bucky Irving 1, Rachaad White 2, I want to go with the 1A, 1B option, right? And it worked pretty darn well last year, Evan.
Sure
So again, like, that's something I would be more comfortable with seeing. And by the way, those guys can both still produce. I mean, insane stats last year for the Bucs in terms of what they were able to do with their running game under Liam Cohen. Again, like, Bucky Irving had over 1,000 rushing yards. Rachaad White had 613. So that's 1,700 rushing yards between the two guys. If you put up similar numbers to that, that's a good year, in my opinion, from both those guys, right? So like, that's something I would be 100% comfortable with seeing.
I do think the notion of Rachaad White being like becoming underrated, I think it's just because just like you
Bucky
said,
mania.
yeah, I get it, right? Everybody, chanting, Bucky. I think his name has something to do with it, right? Bucky the Buck, this and that. Like, I get it, and he's a good player, had a great season.
Yeah,
but I think along the way, you kind of get caught up in all that, and I think also Rachaad White had a couple of bad luck, like some strings of bad luck, where like some things would happen on plays where he was involved, and like in that Dallas game, right? Baker almost gets sacked, somehow gets the ball to Rachaad White. Rachaad White fumbles the ball. Okay, bad play, but then there's people that just destroy him on social media.
You're done with him at that point,
right? And
that's not fair.
You see the shiny new toy in Bucky Irving, who doesn't do those things, even though Bucky Irving kind of cost them the game in Atlanta. Or I think people kind of forget that he fumbled late in the game. Kind of did, but both guys have their strengths and their weaknesses. And like you said, I think Rachaad White is a pretty darn good compliment to Bucky Irving. And I think next year in I know we haven't even had this year yet, but 2026, if Rachaad White's not on this roster, I think the Bucs are going to be looking for somebody similar to Rachaad White to replace Rachaad White. So we will see what happens there. Next guy I want to bring up, and we'll sort of bunch these three together a little bit, but talking about Sean Tucker. And Sean Tucker was another guy who a couple years ago was an undrafted rookie with a lot of hype, and nothing really came of it, right? It was like a lot of hype in the preseason training camp, and then just sort of crickets. Had some moments though last year, specifically against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, had his best career day. What do you think of Sean Tucker this year? I mean, do you think he's gonna see playing time? Do you think this is mostly gonna be pretty much a two-headed running back room?
Is it weird for me to think that Sean Tucker could be a trade piece?
No, I mean, I could see it like at the end of the preseason if somebody's looking for. Is that what you're talking about? If somebody's looking for like some running back depth or something, maybe. I mean, yeah,
where it's just like a backup for a backup type thing. Because look, like, if you want to be completely honest, look, Sean Tucker, good back, right? I just don't know what he is going to be going forward, right? I just don't know if Tampa is going to be that place where he gets that opportunity. Because in my opinion, you guys can disagree, Rachaad White's more valuable. Bucky Irving is more valuable. So yes, it is that theory of like the idea of like you can never have enough good running backs. Sure, I completely understand that. But if a team comes along and says, hey, we'll give you a veteran backup tackle, or we'll give you a 5th or 6th round pick for your undrafted guy that you brought in who's not getting any playing time, I might take that offer, Evan. I might take that offer, brother. Give me another 5th or a 6th. Yeah, I'm there. You want to give me a veteran tackle who, is on the market now? Well, I don't have Tristan Wirfs, so shoot, I might take that deal too. Who knows? There's just some interesting options there with Sean Tucker. Look, I believe in Sean Tucker's ability. He's just one of those guys where, like you said last year, he was a victim of circumstance until he wasn't, where he had to come in and
Mm-hmm.
play, right? And I just wonder, like, how long can you kind of sit on that value for your third running back, by the way, where if a team says, hey, we need a number 2, hey, Bucs, we'll give you something here, I might take that offer, Evan.
Yeah, maybe we will see if it's out there. I mean, look, injuries to certain position groups, right? Whether it's the Buccaneers or somebody else, that can change the team's plans, right? That could definitely change some plans for some teams. So maybe some team does come calling for a guy like Sean Tucker, and maybe the Buccaneers are willing to listen. Maybe they're not. We'll see. But to finish off the running back room, we're going to be talking about 2 guys named Williams. We are going to be talking about DJ Williams, who was, I believe, an undrafted free agent rookie last year. And we are also going to be talking about Josh Williams, who was an undrafted free agent rookie this year, coming out of LSU. And the thing, DJ Williams, all due respect to him, I want to focus on Josh Williams a little bit more here, though, because Baker Mayfield, the other day after practice, had some interesting comments, and I'm not expecting him to come out there and trash a guy, but was very raving about the guy, very, very positive. And I'm not saying he's going to come out there, like I said, and be like, well, this guy needs work, but he could have said a very easy, he's been doing well. I think he might have even singled him out. I don't even think he was asked about him. He just mentioned him. So to me, that's something worth just keeping an eye on throughout these preseason games.
Yeah, bit of an interesting situation there, right? With Josh Williams and stuff like that. I am going to be curious to see how that goes forward, because again, the Bucs did not. He's the only running back the Bucs added to that room from last year, right? You had Rachaad White, you had Bucky Irving, you had Sean Tucker. DJ Williams was on your practice squad. DJ Williams, by the way, is the nephew of Wanish James. Don't know if you knew that, but Josh Williams was the only running back they brought in out of LSU as an undrafted guy. And like you said, for Baker, your team's starting quarterback, to mention your 5th running back, is interesting. It's strange, but in a positive way, right? So I do wonder, kind of, buys into my theory a little bit more, where it's hey, if Josh Williams goes out there and absolutely cooks, does that make Sean Tucker more expendable? If Josh Williams can do things that are better than what you're getting from Sean Tucker, maybe as a blocker, maybe as a receiver, does that make Sean Tucker more expendable? I don't know. I'm not, by the way, I'm not
really pushing that agenda.
Yeah, I am. But it's also just because it's such a strange circumstance for Tucker, for me, that I just don't see, I see the potential in Tucker. In fact, that's it's almost like me pushing for him to get traded just so he gets an opportunity, because I see that hey, he's a pretty solid player, right? He could be a decent running back, but will he ever get that chance in Tampa Bay? I don't know. Right now, I'd lean more towards no.
Yeah.
So it's okay, get that value while you can, especially if a guy like Josh Williams comes in and does some good stuff. But yeah, very cool that he was singled out by Baker there. I'm sure that meant a lot to him.
Yeah, I'm sure. And like I said, that's definitely something to be eyebrow raising. And I think something that Bucs fans should maybe keep an eye on, Josh Williams, in these preseason games coming up here. But let us know what you guys think of the Bucs running back room. Do you think Bucky Irving is going to replicate his rookie year success? Do you think Rachaad White is on his way out in Tampa Bay after this season? I would be surprised if he was traded, it's before the season or anything. I think the Bucs want him. So we'll see. But what do you guys think of the Bucs, top 2 running backs there? What do you think of a guy like Sean Tucker? Could he be a guy who's potentially moved? And what do you think of DJ Williams and Josh Williams as well? Let us know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Thank you to James for joining me in this video. Thank you all for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go Bucs.